an introvert student like me.
Are you an introvert?
Kind of, yeah. Well, yeah, yes.
Do you know she water skis?
Hi everyone. Welcome to DARI TV. My name is Sooyoung, and I'm gonna talk about my career path and what I'm doing right now in sustainability and ESG field.
So I'm here with Sooyoung, a former graduate of Ewha GSIS. She's been kind enough to take time to talk about her career in ESG, or environmental social governance issues, and sustainability. She currently works at an AI-driven ESG firm called Who's Good, and I'm so proud of what she's done so far in the field, and I would love for her to introduce a little bit more about how she got into the firm and maybe some tips for our students who are preparing for a similar career path.
When I just graduated from my undergrad, actually I was more into going to grad school, but then I went to international bank to manage the corporate loans.
You sound so excited.
Yeah, I didn't really expect myself in working at a bank. My friends were like, "You working at a bank?" Something like that.
We're not hating on banks.
Like my undergrad, I used to think companies are bad. They're the axis of evil. They're hurting people, that kind of stuff, because I was interested in human rights. And I was more into human trafficking issues. But when I started working at the bank, I got to manage the project financing loans. And then that's when I kind of thought, maybe, with this a lot of money, they can do something better. And that kind of projects, like building factories or plants, it actually helps the local community. So that's when I thought maybe companies can do better. And then I quit my very stable job at a bank and then went to Japan for a unpaid internship at an NGO about human trafficking victims. That's when I got to meet a lot of people from companies working with NGOs, and that's when I learned CSR. But actually, in Japan, a lot of Japanese companies do not, they don't really talk about human trafficking or forced labor. So we actually worked with global brands like Body Shop, Google. They were very into the human trafficking issues. So that's when I thought I want to pursue this career, sustainability related career.
Was the working language Japanese, or was it English?
Japanese and English, because the director actually went to my school in the US. Yay, Badgers! Wisconsin Madison. So,
yay, Wolverines!
Wisconsin! And then
Wisconsin's okay. Would you like to say hello to your former boss?
Hello! I miss you so much. So she was an awesome director of Lighthouse Japan. It was actually formerly Polaris Project Japan. And Polaris Project is a biggest human trafficking NGO, anti-human trafficking NGO in the US. And then she started her own Japan subsidiary after working in the US. So I got to work with a lot of companies, like Japanese lawyers, government, police. It was an unpaid job, but still I had such an amazing,
priceless experience.
Yes, I had to work at a restaurant after work, or Korean tutor, but still it was the most amazing career experience in my life. And yeah,
that's amazing. So you had this amazing career in Japan, kind of in the area that you were hoping that you would continue to work with, human trafficking and human rights, and making sure that human dignity is valued and championed. So what brought you to Korea?
I came back to Korea after 6 months internship. I had an offer to stay there, but then first reason was I wanted to work at a company. Since companies have more resources and maybe more creativity, so I thought it would be more fun to work at a company for sustainability. That's when I came back to Korea and then started my marketing and communications career. Yes, but it's really hard to find a sustainability related position in Korea. There are some more than before, but even then 2014, 15, like you search, like Job Korea or LinkedIn. If you say like sustainability or 지속 가능 경영, like you didn't really find any job position. But I didn't really want to stay in marketing and communications. So that's when I decided to go to Ewha GSIS.
So why did you choose Ewha?
So I looked at most of the international studies lecturing in English, but then you see the list of professors. Oh man.
We're not hating.
I'm not hating.
It's not to be discouraging of male professors at all.
But
I get that.
Yeah. Thank you. But, I'm a woman. I'm interested in gender issues. And I wanted to hear more about like gender and development. But then there was not many classes on sustainability too. Not many classes on genders. Ewha was the only option for me actually in that way. I didn't even apply for any other.
I was going to ask. You were all in.
Yes. Yeah. And then it was close to my house actually.
I think that's the number one. So in terms of your academic interest, but also in terms of how you wanted to link that to a future career, what courses, let's say 2 or 3 that come to mind, which ones were most helpful for you in your opinion? In terms of preparing to go into the workforce and to begin your career?
I chose development cooperation just for gender issues.
I'm so nervous.
I didn't even look at any other major, but I kind of regret because like
okay, you don't have to say.
Right now I'm doing the ESG analysis of companies, and it actually requires like a financial knowledge. But Professor John actually teaches, accounting, financial reporting and stuff. So I wish I took that. Now I have to study by myself.
Other than your wish to have taken something like financial accounting or something having to do with numbers or maybe quantitative analysis, what other courses did you find quite helpful for you as you were in the job market?
So since I am working in the corporate sustainability field, one of the Professor John's course, which is development and corporate social responsibility, actually gave me like a theoretical knowledge about the field, the sustainability, and then the last part of the course, actually we had the chance to work with KT, which is a very big in SDGs right now. They are doing a lot of work about international development. So we got to work with KT employee. We planned project, talk about like how they work for the SDGs. So that was the best course for me.
So what I did was I found some very generous practitioners from 3 Korean corporations. And so at the time it was, I believe, Hyundai Motor Company, LG Electronics, as well as KT, which Sooyoung was a member of, that team. And so we split the students into, I think, 3 groups.
Right.
And so each of the 3 groups was assigned a specific company, and they would work with members of that company to talk about things like which regions of the world that they were particularly interested in, as well as what specific issues. So for example, it could be environment, it could be gender-based issues. This was in close cooperation with those companies. And so I do want to give a shout out and thank you for your generosity, and hopefully we can do it again very soon. But I think it was very beneficial for the students because you had to actually think from the perspective of not only the company, but also from those in the local communities, and to think of creative ways to engage both stakeholders. So coming up with that project idea, I think, was really fun for me to hear, and also hopefully interesting and meaningful for the students. So you majored in development cooperation, although you had flirted a little bit with international business.
Yes.
While you were at Ewha GSIS, how did you find out about Who's Good? Because I know that you started working there almost immediately after graduation. So how did you find out about it, and how did you apply, and what did you think that they found attractive in you as a candidate?
The last part of my grad school, I was actually working with Professor Sooyoung Kim at her research institute. At the same time, I had to find a job, so I searched every day for like few hours LinkedIn, Indeed, Job Korea, everywhere for sustainability job. It's very, very hard to see any kind of position. Like I said before, the position was posted on Who's Good website. LinkedIn or Job Korea, like companies actually have to, post their jobs. But like Indeed search, they actually show the search results from like crawling from the company's websites. It's a pretty good website, I think. So that's how I found Who's Good. So it was very hard to find. But then when I applied for it, the first advantage of my resume was my CEO Thomas. He said I worked at NGO, so I clearly had some kind of interest in sustainability or human rights, that kind of field. Then I had the master's from very prestigious, very good university, very good program. He actually said in the interview that because there are not that many classes on corporate sustainability, but I took 2 of them at Ewha with her. So my CEO was like, oh, so you actually have interest in corporate sustainability. So I think that was one of the very good thing on my resume. Also, Who's Good is very international. We have like multinational employees. Me speaking English and being able to communicate in English or Japanese was a very good thing. Also, what else?
You're just so brilliant. Personal brilliance. So thank you so much, Sooyoung, for taking time. I know, but it's getting loud here. There are so many people outside, even though it's time of social distancing. And I'd like to end these sessions with a word of encouragement to our students, especially those who are facing the job market. And I know that these are particularly challenging times.
So ESG is big in financial market. I don't know anything about finance. Like I said, I really regret that I didn't take finance-related courses. So, when you think about sustainability, people think about, you have to be in an NGO or, some kind of very activist-like activities, but actually you can be in finance. Maybe you can make ESG framework for your financial institutions. Or if you're more into like a marketing and communication, maybe you can be more of like a CSR activity or CSR strategies at like a really big company. Right now in Korea, there are not that many jobs, I know. You have to dig on like a lot of job-related websites, especially LinkedIn is really good. Like some of the students asking me like I don't have much experience, I don't really have anything to write on LinkedIn, but it's not just to show your resume. It's actually a very good way, especially introvert like me. You can online stalk people. You can search a certain job position name and then you can see the list of people. And you can look at the profile and you can see what kind of career path they had, what kind of academic experience, what kind of interest they have. It's very helpful for students, I think. So you have to look at LinkedIn. I had so many different jobs. And I didn't know like I'm gonna end up here, so you shouldn't be discouraged by any kind of hurdles. You might think, I can't get like this kind of job that I want because there's no job, something like that. But you can actually have like a various experiences. Like it looks like a dot, but actually when I look back, it actually connects to this kind of job, this kind of position. There are so many ways to have sustainability related jobs, so don't be discouraged too much in Korea. Keep up with your efforts and talk to Professor John about the field. Or me, find me on LinkedIn, find Who's Good on LinkedIn and talk to us.
Fighting!
Fighting! 짜잔!